Family, what's going on? Give everybody a few minutes to get started. Today is Friday, April 26, 2019. I am in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So this FICO Friday will not be live on YouTube, or I may be able to put it on YouTube from my cell phone, but we're going to go in. Wasn't able to create the flyer. Actually decided at the last minute to do the FICO Friday. So we got multiple cameras. We got Mr. Will Roundtree page. We have Jay Morrison Academy page. And of course, we are live on Facebook again. Welcome. I am live out here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. If you were not in Milwaukee last night at the Cocktails and Credit event, you definitely missed out. It was a dope event. It was probably close to about 60 people in there. Great energy, great vibe. Milwaukee, as I always said, is probably one of the best markets for real estate investing. Went and looked at several properties today. King Daryl, what's going on? King Daryl actually flew all the way to Milwaukee for the Cocktails and Credit, all the way from Miami, Florida. So I appreciate that, family. Thank you for coming out supporting. Several people flew in. You had people coming in from Cleveland, Illinois, Minneapolis. Man, it was definitely a dope event. Teresa, what's going on? All right, so today's FICO Friday was kind of impromptu, again, because I originally wasn't gonna do it, but got multiple people hit me in my inbox, was like, yo, you gonna do FICO Friday? So I said, you know what, I'm gonna carve out some time, make sure I do it. For those who don't know me, my name is Will Roundtree, credit mastery instructor for the Jay Morrison Academy. Had a few people hop on the Jay Morrison page, was asking who am I, so I definitely never assume everyone knows me. So credit master instructor for the Jay Morrison Academy, president, co-founder of Easy Funding, president and founding owner of We Management Services, author of the book Credit is King. Real estate investor, all that good stuff. So I appreciate everybody for hopping on here. I appreciate everybody who's been supporting the FICO Friday. We've been doing this, I want to say, almost a year now. And, people are really enjoying the FICO Fridays. It's a way for me to just kind of, rock out with you guys, give you guys some good information, some good game. King Michael, what's going on? Michael Grayson on Facebook. And so today's topic is going to be the difference between charge cards and credit cards. King Justice, what's going on? Between charge cards and credit cards. I actually put a post up on Instagram, I think on Facebook as well, that talked about there is a difference between charge cards and credit cards. A lot of people didn't know that there was a difference. And so the difference in a charge card and a credit card, and I want to just hop right into it. So American Express is most commonly known for their charge cards. With the charge card, essentially, that's going to be comparable to a net 30 account. For those who do not know what a net 30 account, that is where you go, you make a purchase on that card, and you have to pay that payment back in full within 30 days. King Justice out of Ohio, what's going on? And so with the American Express charge card, you have the green, the platinum, and the black card. They have a gold too, excuse me. So you have the green card, the gold card, the platinum card, and then you have the black card. Now, with the charge cards or the American Express, a lot of it got popularized just because of the marketing behind it. I mean, they made it to where it's regarded and looked at as one of the most prestigious type of credit cards or charge cards to have. Now, the thing about the charge cards through American Express that I particularly like are the benefits. And so each charge card level has different benefits. And I'm going to tie all of this into being able to leverage that to be able to invest in business, real estate, whatever it is that you want to invest in. And so some of the benefits, especially if you are a traveler, if you fly frequently, the mileage, the points, whatever it is that you're into, when you have when you have an American Express charge card, let's say you go out and you purchase something for $1,000, you have to make that payment back in full. And I'm trying to look at all three cameras. You have to make that payment back in full within 30 days or whenever that billing cycle is. Now, if you don't make that payment back in 30 days, of course, you run the risk of your account going delinquent, getting a 30-day late pay, and all of that stuff. So when you have an American Express charge card, King OC family, what's going on? When you have an American Express charge card, you have to understand that you don't get to make monthly payments on that. Now, one of the things American Express just started doing, credit is the new dollar. Learn about it. Absolutely. One of the things that you have to understand and that American Express just started doing is that they have a new feature called pay over time, which is actually a really dope feature because with the new pay over time feature, and generally you have to have your American Express card for a minimum of 90 days, I believe. When you have that American Express pay over time feature, and of course you would have had to use the card, they want to see that you are actively using it before they do approve you. Any purchase over $100, you can pick up the phone, contact American Express, and they'll let you do the new pay over time feature, which means you get to roll your payments for that balance. So now, if you have an American Express charge card and you have the pay over time feature and you swipe it for $1,000, they will break it up into monthly payments and let you pay on it with a revolving balance, just like a traditional credit card. So a traditional credit card is beneficial for people because now you get to have a rolling balance. So now let's say you have a Chase credit card, and I'm not promoting any particular company, just whatever one came to the top of mind. So let's say you have a Chase credit card, you have a $5,000 limit, you go and swipe that card for $1,000, you're going to have a monthly minimum payment that's due every single month. Usually after about usually after your interest rate fee and your minimum monthly payment fee, usually your payment is going to be about 2.7%. So that's how you can kind of guesstimate what your monthly payment would be, about 2.7% of the balance that you use for that transaction. So with the traditional credit card, they're going to give you a rolling revolving balance that you can make monthly payments on. Excuse me. Now, with those monthly payments or those monthly minimum payments that you're able to make, and I want to kind of address this because I get a lot of people that say, well, the interest rate is high. The interest rate is high. The interest only really kicks in or is impacting you when you are only making the minimum payment. So the way I tell people how you avoid the interest rate is if you have a minimum payment of $15, send them 25, send them 30, send them 50, because now you're eating into that interest. And that's really how people get caught in a credit trap, is they're only making the minimum payments. But then again, that's because depending on what your purpose of using the credit for. And I talked about this last night at the Cocktails and Credit. See, most consumers, we've been conditioned to look at credit from a consumer standpoint, meaning when the average person gets a credit card, they're looking to see what, new purse or sneakers or belt or go to the club, whatever it is that they're going to use it for. Anybody that we've worked with in my team, we look at a credit card or a line of credit and we're like, okay, what asset can I just purchase? Or what asset can I purchase? We just looked at a property out here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where the owner wants $25,000, but based upon what the scope of work is going to need to be done, we're going to offer the seller, we're going to offer the seller $8,500. So imagine having a credit card with a $24,000 limit, which Navy Federal, that's about the average limit that they give you when you have a strong credit profile, and being able to get $8,500 off of that card and going and buy a house, an entire asset that already has equity in it, no matter what it looks like. The seller is in a place of desperation because he's liquidating his portfolio because he has to sell off some assets. So again, entrepreneurs, business owners, investors, we look at credit differently than someone as a consumer because I'm looking at my credit line saying, okay, how can I use this line of credit, piece these credit lines together to go and purchase an asset? And so that's the thing. So now, going back and tying this all together with the charge card and a credit card, how does this all relate from an investment standpoint? So with the charge card, particularly, and we're only talking about American Express because they're most commonly known for their charge cards, is that a couple pieces of advice. With your charge cards, American Express generally does not want you to liquidate those. And anybody who knows, most of the American Express charge cards, they don't have a preset limit. Now, they will set your limit based upon a couple different criterias and algorithms that they calculate, internally. And that's normally based upon like your DTI and all of that stuff. And so you can actually go in there and see what you qualify for. Now, for my investors, one of the things that we've done is we've actually charged our construction cost. We've charged our labor costs. We've charged our renovation costs, or just the purchasing of the materials. So if I had to spend 10 grand on materials, I'm going to put it potentially on a charge card, because now I'm using a bank's money, and now I can make payments over time on that charge card, and being able to make sure that the cost of my materials are covered. So again, a lot of the things that I talk about and that we teach and everything, it's all really just based upon strategy. Our goal is to provide strategy to put you in the best position to give you the easiest entry point into real estate, or into entrepreneurship, or into business, or into investing, or whatever it is you want to do. I mean, we've had people that liquidated their credit cards and used it to invest in the stock market. Now, am I telling everybody to do that? No, because you may not be as versed, or may not be in position to take as big of a risk from that standpoint. But my more seasoned investors were able to do so and be able to reap the benefits. So with the charge card, just understand that American Express is very particular with their charge cards in general. They don't like you to liquidate the charge cards. Now, the credit card, if you get an American Express credit card, and again, it's a difference between a charge card and a credit card, those you can liquidate. So if you have a $30,000 American Express credit card, you can actually go, and a liquidation is not a cash advance. So I want to, differentiate and let people know the difference between what a cash advance and a liquidation. So a cash advance, where you have a certain allotment of the amount of cash on that credit card that the bank will allow you to get access to. But when you do a cash advance, not only are you going to pay a premium on the interest on top of the cash advance interest fee payment, but you only have access to about 25% of whatever the credit card's limit is. So when you do a liquidation, if you have a $50,000 credit card, you can pull up to the entire $50,000. So, and again, that's done with that is done in the form of a strategy called liquidation, where you're able to liquidate the credit line. So for my real estate investors, and for anyone who is in Milwaukee, make sure you are out at the Credit to Cash event at the Sherman Phoenix tomorrow afternoon, 12 p.m. noon to 2 p.m. noon. I'm going to go into detail exactly how to leverage the bank's money to purchase real estate. So how you are able to liquidate your cars to purchase real estate. I mean, one of our first investment properties we bought from my brother King Beyond Win out in Cleveland, Ohio, using a credit card. And so, yes, it can be done, but you have to have the strategy. And I speak to so many people that get upset and be like, oh, you can't do that. You're using debt to move debt and this, that, and the third. And I'm like, okay, it's all about curating the asset. But as long as you know the proper strategy, the asset is going to service the debt, which then keeps me really minimizing what my debts are. Because once we always are going to calculate the cost, or as we call it, our carrying costs, whenever we're doing our deal evaluation to make sure that this deal is going to make sense. And as long as that asset is going to service the debt, it's a win, because now we just purchased a property without using any money out of our pocket, without using any money out of our personal bank account. We didn't have to go beg our rich Uncle Phil, which most of us aren't privileged to have a rich Uncle Phil in Beverly Hills, and being able to utilize that capital to go and invest into an asset that's going to be producing us a residual income every single month But then more importantly, it's an asset that I can go and refinance. So now I'm getting capital again, all from starting from that credit card. And then if I want to sell the property to the tenant, I'm going to win again. And then it becomes a win-win because now I've sold that property to a tenant to where now their mortgage has went from me charging them $1,000 a month for rent where they're now getting ownership at $500. So again, it's all really about strategy. And that's really the thing that I'll try to get people to hone in on. Because, sometimes we get these naysayers and different things. And I'm like, okay, well, show me what your strategy and your plan is and your exit strategy. And then they're like a deer caught in headlights. They don't know what to do. They're getting information from 50 million gurus who some of them probably don't even own real estate. And then they're still seeking out the mentorship from those gurus who aren't even showing them how to get the capital to get into the real estate. They're just pushing their packages. So this is why I get extremely passionate, because we've done and we've shown proof. We have 4 of our coaching clients who flew out to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, all of them who own real estate right here in Milwaukee, all from leveraging their credit. And so it definitely can be done. We just have to put ourselves in position. When are you coming to Chicago? I'll be in Chicago in a few weeks. The tour schedule is actually somewhere in my Instagram feed, family. So yeah, we will be in Chicago, Illinois. I want to say probably in about a month or so. And so this is what I'm trying to tell you guys. Family, look, it's not going to be this easy forever. Right now, the banks are giving the money away. Matter of fact, getting the money is the easiest part. I'm going to say that again. Getting the money is the easiest part once you are in position. Now, it's the getting in position that some of us don't want to do. My grandfather used to say, if it's dressed in overalls and look like work, we don't want to do it. But we got to be willing to put that work in and laying that foundation. Imagine if you're contractor, you want to get a house built and you hire a contractor and the contractor goes and does a sloppy job with the foundation. How would you be excited about that? Because now your house is built on shaky grounds. That's the same thing about putting your credit profile in position. Your credit profile is your foundation, because now once you get the foundation laid, everything else is simple. Because from a strategy standpoint, especially for a client who is attempting to go through funding, imagine being in position where you got 6 LLCs that are all over 2 years old, where now you can go to the bank and get a business line of credit for every single LLC for $50,000 to $100,000 using stated income. Meaning your company didn't make one dime, but we're going to be able to state your income. The money is going to be unsecured, non-discretionary, and non-collateralized. Where else can you go and get access to that type of capital, without, with it being legal? I'm talking about legal capital to be able to use to invest in anything. That's what non-discretionary means. To be able to use it to invest in real estate, to use to invest in a rehab project, use to be invest in a crowdfunding source program, use it to invest in, in stocks or whatever it is that you want to invest in. And that's the thing that, I really just try to convey, and I really want people to understand that this money is out here, but we got to be willing to put the work in. We have to be patient, because that's something we deal with all the time. I get a lot of people who don't want to be patient. It took them 40 years to ruin their credit and they want it to be fixed in 30 days. Life doesn't work that way. You can't, eat bad food over, the course of 20 years and then expect to have abs after going to the gym for 2 weeks. We have to have some level of a base of reality to understand, this is going to take some time. I have to first change my mindset and how I think. Because if you change your mindset, you wouldn't care if it took you 6 years to get in position. Because what are you going to be doing over the next 6 years anyway? And so just understanding that we have to start putting ourselves in position so that way we can go out here, acquire this real estate, curate some wealth, and build that legacy for our children's children. Because that's what it's all about. It's not about us. This is about what are we going to leave behind for our family. Are you becoming the CEO of your last name? Are you, going back and hoarding this information? Or are you out there trying to service your community and your loved ones with this information? Are you teaching your children? I have a client who was working on their teenage son's credit. As soon as they turned 18, once the son turned 19, we were able to, leverage his credit. The father put the son on his seasoned company, which his company was about 3 years old. And he was able to get, over the course of us getting him some capital, over $120,000 in capital. And right now he's on, I want to say, his third real estate investment project. He's 20 years old right now. So imagine with the proper information. I'm not just going to say information because it's a lot of misinformation out here. But imagine having the proper information. What type of legacy can you start to create? With the proper information, what type of things you can do to put your children's children in position, and yeah, the building of the wealth isn't gonna happen overnight, but true wealth is built slowly. I don't know anyone who got wealthy working a 9 to 5, and that's for 40 years. So we have to stop assuming we can get into real estate or an entrepreneurship and thinking we're gonna become wealthy overnight. It's a process, but we got to be willing to put the work in. And that's one of the things I've always said. I'm here for the long haul. I'm here for you guys. I want to see everybody win. And, I'm doing everything I can. At least I'm assuming selfishly trying to, provide this information because I know what this information has done for me, my family, my loved ones. And everybody on my team, it's changed their lives to being able to have, my partner, Paul Thornton, who was able to leave a 6-figure job and create his own business and has a 6-figure company part-time, so it's all about that. It's about the give back and all of that good stuff. So I'll open it up for some Q&A if anybody does have some questions. Again, Milwaukee. It's supposed to snow out here, so I'm still in the air if I'm even going to stay here till tomorrow. But because I made the commitment, I'm going to stay. Whether it's rain, sleet, or snow, I don't care if it's nobody in there but the janitors in the building. I'm still going to do this event because that's the type of commitment I have for you guys. I flew out here to come and rock out with the city of Milwaukee. So I hope that you guys give me the same energy. Come out, support this event. It's a free event. We did an event like this similar in New York City, right in the Microsoft building in Manhattan. We was charging $500 a ticket. So I'm coming back to my hometown and doing this for the free 99. So definitely make sure y'all come out and support. So let me see. My inquiries are coming off in only a couple of weeks after working with Mr. Roundtree team. Very happy. I appreciate that. Thank you, Queen Margaret. Thank you. All right. Let me see. What kind of questions y'all have? It takes a few weeks to ruin your credit. But it's a long-term process because when someone goes through a process where they potentially have ruined it, and I get it, sometimes life does happen, but then they continue to let it build up. And a lot of times we don't become proactive because we do become scared. So that's where I say, yes, it can take sometimes a time frame or build your credit over time. Queen Angie, gotta love the free 99. Absolutely, free 99. All right, what if I can't refinance to pay the credit card banks back because of my debt to income is too high? So that's all part of understanding, knowing what your exit strategy is. That's something that needs to be figured out in the interim. So, and again, this is why having mentors or someone that knows the process of real estate investing through and through. So when we sit down with the client, we already know what our exit strategy is. It's like playing chess. I don't move a pawn on my real estate chessboard just because, unless I already know what my next 3 to 4 moves are going to be. So unfortunately, yes, that could happen, but that's when you got to get creative. Okay, let's look at your budget. Sometimes I've sat down with clients who their DTI was too high, and when we start digging through their budget, they're paying $450 for cable television. They got a $600 cell phone bill. So we start digging through and start finding some discretionary income so we can put them in position to get some of their DTI down. So, all right, I'm new to your page. What's the process I must take to utilize your services? You can go to jmorrisonacademy.com, jmorrisonacademy.com. I need help to build my credit. Well, you're at the right place, family. Reach out to us and we can get you in position. What's the difference between a line of credit and a business credit card? Very good question. So a A line of credit is where where the bank is going to give you a line of credit. So let's say you get a line of credit from the bank for 50,000. You can actually walk into the bank and pull cash off of that line up to that dollar amount. And so you can say, hey, I want 25,000 out of my $50,000 line. They'll give you 25,000 cash, or you will have a check where you can write a $25,000 check against it. A business credit card is a business credit card, and it can be used almost like a business line of credit because we now have a process or strategy where we can liquidate the cash off that card. So again, it's really just a strategy. Now, the $1 million, caveat when dealing or trying to get a business line of credit, your company has to be 2 years old, and sometimes banks want you to have tax returns. You got to show proof of income for your company. Again, but when you have access to the plugs, we understand how to deal with underwriters to be able to get around some of those things. So it's really all about information, and that's the thing that we have to start to seek it out, but then also understand sometimes that information is we need to make an investment to get the right and proper information. Imagine going to an attorney. An attorney isn't going to sit down with you for free. Yeah, they may do a free consultation, but that's them getting your name and email address so they know where to send the invoice to. So understand, I'm willing to invest to get proper information to put me in position to be able to, put my family in position. Are you personally guaranteeing the business line of credit? Yes, you always have to personally guarantee the business lines of credit. Every single bank wants you to personally guarantee it. If someone tells you they can get you business lines of credit without using your social, run away from them. Because most of the time, if your company's not doing 5-6 million, not 10 years old, and you don't have an extremely thorough banking relationship with that company, yes, you will always have to personally guarantor that money. I got one of my son's items disputed using the letters on your book in his credit report. Thanks. Absolutely, Queen Constance. Thank you. Can you remove credit inquiries that you receive credit from? Absolutely. We just had a Queen Margaret, who mentioned she got her inquiries removed. And, and a lot of times we get clients who come to us and they're extremely hesitant because they don't even know if it'll work. But I can assure you our credit inquiry process does work. Anybody in any of the lives, Mr. Will Roundtree page, Facebook, or Jay Morrison Academy fan page, if you have had credit inquiry removal from us, my team, myself, and have had success, I want you to give me a fist. Give me a fist if you've had some success with our inquiry removal. I need my LLC for 2 years. The LLC being 2 years is only predicated when you are trying to get business lines of credit, but you can still get credit cards even if your company is 1 day old. Because of you, my credit scores are above 750. I have over 75,000 worth of business credit to invest in real estate in my very own women's health clinic, Queen Angie. Yes, appreciate that, Queen. Thank you. All right. For those of us rocking out with you, King, and not able to get to Milwaukee tomorrow, is there going to be a live stream? We're actually working on that. This event I'm doing tomorrow, we literally got this cleared 2 days ago. So it's some things logistically that we are working on. And if we can live stream it, if anything, I'll be streaming it right from my Instagram page. So make sure you're following me on Instagram. I go back every 6 months for inquiry removal. King Frank, I appreciate that. And that's actually a very good point, because understand, as a business owner, emojis, I appreciate that. Thank you. Understand, as a business owner, you're going to always be applying for credit. My sister, Queen Ange, thank you. Angela Roundtree, as well as Queen Angie Height, thank you. Understand, as a business owner, you're going to always be constantly applying for credit, whether it's for money, whether it's for a credit card, whether it's for a lease on a building, you're trying to purchase trucks. And so I have clients like King Frank out of Pittsburgh who literally every 6 months is coming back for credit inquiry removal. Or somebody like King Beyond, who's coming back every 90 days because he's going to every single bank in the United States. And he has about 10 companies that he set up specifically just to get funding. Again, it's the strategies. And because King Beyond been utilizing these strategies at a higher level is putting him in a position to where he's able to go and leverage his credit on multiple companies. So, I mean, this is dope, and like we always say, it's not going to be like this forever. Can you remove American Express business cards that is in collections off your report? You can dispute anything. I never like to say it can always be removed because it's going to be a process. And sometimes disputing on a business profile is a little bit more difficult than a personal consumer. And so one of the things I always recommend, this is why you want to have multiple companies. If that company gets tarnished, do like the wealthy. You wash your hands, you dissolve the company with your registrant agent, and you go to company B. I'm just telling you. All right, dog, you vicious with the knowledge. Love it. Appreciate that. Thank you. How does easy funding compare to fund and grow? I don't know. You have to do your own comparison. I don't know what fund and grow does. I can just tell you that what we do at Easy Funding. And yeah, there are similar companies that do what we do, but I can tell you not many people are giving you the level of education and that's going to walk you through step by step like we do, and I'm willing to put that up against any company or anybody out there doing what we do. King Brian, appreciate you sharing this information and knowledge, King. Thank you. Well, not information, but you said knowledge. Appreciate that, King. All right. King Tony, what's going on? King Haroon, one of my bankers. All right. But you got the banks that will lend to different entities, same borrower. Good stuff. Absolutely. All right. Is it okay to dispute inquiries from accounts that are still active? Yes, when you know what you're doing. We do it all the time. We do it all the time. All right. I didn't know you could get credit in multiple companies. Absolutely. Absolutely, you can. King Beyond, tag in if you're available. I want you to share your story, what we just did for you. Y'all saw the post. We got them about 225,000 in 10 days. So when people ask what we do versus other companies, we get people money and we do it very well. And so Judah _respect. Appreciate that. Thank you. All right, what we have. Where the hell do I begin? That's a very good question. So first of all, you want to begin by knowing what you want to do. And from that point, you can reach out to us. You can go to the website, jmorrisonacademy.com. King Beyond, hey, chime in. Hit the smiley faces at the bottom so I can get you in. And King Beyond is actually out here in Milwaukee. He drove all the way out here. It was came out not only to support the Credit and Cocktails event, but we looking at doing some big things together and buying up this city with all of the money we just got him. So I'm gonna use some of his money to buy some real estate. All right, appreciate that, King. All right, let me see. Does an LLC need to show it's performing in order to get business credit? Very good question. No, that is not always the case. It's more so about making sure your business is active and bank compliant. Your company must be bank compliant. King Josh, what's going on? King Kendrick, my family, my cousin. I see you out there, man. You making moves. All right, Santana, I'm glad I was able to watch this Friday. I have to get the Credit is King book from my pops. Yeah, tell Dennis to give you one. I'm sure he put a couple in a duffel bag last time he was out here. Wow, I'm an hour from Milwaukee. Well, hopefully you can drive out to come to the Credit to Cash event tomorrow for our Credit to Cash that we're doing at the Sherman Phoenix. Key term, bank compliant. Absolutely, your company must be bank compliant. King Kendall Hope, what's going on? I have a Capital One card since 2012, but there is no record of it on my credit report. What do I do? Well, you can reach out to Capital One, see if they'll report it. Some credit card products, especially if it's a starter card, may not report. So that's one of the things. Now, I would say that that's a card, as long as it's in good standing, that I would want to report because you have 7 years of credit history, and that's going to be really big. What do you mean when you say bank compliant? Well, bank compliant means that there are certain guidelines that the banks are looking for that your company needs to have in position. And so I'll give you one. One of a bank compliant scenarios is your company needs to have a fax number. If your company doesn't have a fax number, you're not bank compliant. And they can actually reject your credit application just simply because you don't have a fax number. All right, so I got my brother King Beyond on here. King, can you hear me?
I hear you loud and clear. Can you hear me?
Absolutely. Okay, so share with the people. Once you hit me up about 15 days ago, you was like, King, I got about 5 other companies. What can I do? I said, oh, we're going to send you to the banks. Sent you directly to my banks. You got to shake the branch manager's hands personally and tell them your story, King. What were you able to do?
I was able to get a couple of dollars, man.
What, like 5, 6, 20? What kind of dollars?
A couple $100,000 so far. About to get another 6 figures, probably in about 7 more days.
And
so it works for everybody that's on here. I didn't know that multiple companies can get funded at one time either. But I'm a person that some people ask a whole bunch of questions. Me, I'm the kind of person when somebody tell me something, I come to the table with everything they tell me to come to the table with, and I'm ready to do it. Let's find out. And I found out.
And since we've been working together, how much estimate? You don't have to get an exact number. I don't want people counting your pockets. What's the estimate that we've gotten you for all your companies so far?
See, I don't want them counting my pockets either. The only thing I'm gonna say is, I can't say it enough. It's like everybody that's on here. Like when you told people to put a fist up for everybody that had the removals, as far as the inquiries. It's like, I don't know if there's anything else you can do to really let people know that it's real. When I first met you, I told you that you was one of the first persons that I've met on this journey, and I've been in this business for 17 years, that actually did everything that they talked about doing. Period.
Right.
It's like some people just talk a lot, and they got the suit on, and they using all the big words. They study the dictionary, and they get your money, and then they give you a bunch of drag. It was never like that with you. And for the people that's on here, the energy that you feel from Will, this is Will in real life. When he talks about business or tell you the things that he can do, he actually it happens. I'm telling you, it happens. It's real. It's real. And I just want to add this to all the individuals that's on here, and even some of the individuals I spoke with last night at the event. They was asking me some questions. I'm like, listen, when other people, when different races bring things to us, or even the certain systems that's in place that that have us running in circles forever, we don't question that. We don't vet that. But when we come to each other, about elevating and rising to the next level, creating legacy, building wealth, we want to do all this, all this due diligence and background checks, and like, it's time to move forward. How much more confirmation do you all need? And like King Will said, this won't continue to go this way. Anytime we get wind of something, the rules change. If anybody was in real estate and before 2008 and the crash came, see, crashes just don't happen. It's by design. Crashes, it's by design. The economy expands by design. The depressions, recessions happen by designs. You have to be educated enough. You have to be around the right people. You have to be willing to invest in yourself, to have the right mentors, coaches, friends, and associates, so you can be equipped to put yourself in position so you can take advantage when those things happen on purpose. It's going to happen again. So what King Will is offering, the banks, the no doc stated, that's not going to stay the same. When the real estate market was super hot, it was one of the reasons because it was stated, one person could buy, 10 houses and they do hair. Then the market crashed. And most of those people got the money, they over-leveraged, they didn't take care of their business. But that's the perfect time to have yourself in position so you can capitalize, because there's always money to be made, whether the market is up high or the market is down. If you're in position and you have the right strategies in place, you built the right foundation, you could thrive in any market.
100%. I couldn't have said it better myself. I appreciate that, King. And so,
No doubt.
yeah, family, like I said, my whole thing is I just really want to come on here, use this platform, and just have a conversation with y'all. You know, yeah, sometimes I do get passionate. I may come off a little preachy, which I definitely don't try to do, but it's just because I truly want to see our people win and eat, because it's nobody, at least as long as I've been in this space, that look like us, that is out here doing what we're doing. Investing our own money to come out and feed the community, feed them financially. And so this is the thing that I'm really just trying to share with us, is that, look, you know, just get positioned. That's all it really is about. Because even if you got some capital and sat on it for 2 years, I'm telling you, the market eventually will take another dive. But that's when we can go in and go buy up everything. And that's what I tell people. See, I don't look to go and buy real estate high so I can sell it for higher. I look to buy real estate low, hold it, and then I could sell it for higher. Again, we looked at a property today. We're going to put in an offer for $8,500. I know people they got a tax refund for $8,500. So imagine just being in position, being patient, and being able to make a purchase. So being in position, being patient, and making a purchase. That's what it's all about. Where's the info for Milwaukee event? It's going to be at the Sherman Phoenix tomorrow at 12 p.m. noon. Somebody asked me, it's going to snow tomorrow. Are you still going? Absolutely. Like I say, I don't care if don't nobody show up. I'm going to still perform and do what I got to do. It's going to be practice for me if don't nobody come. So, yes, I'm going to still definitely show up and service the people. For new startup businesses, is there a certain amount of time we must be bank compliant? No. If you get bank compliant tomorrow, we take you to the banks tomorrow. So yes, it's we get you in position and take you right away. All right, let me see what else. This is why I love social media, relevant information. Appreciate that. Most High RBG. King Haroon.
King up in Toronto.
Oh, okay. All right, get the money now, because 9-10, when you need to get your credit, circumstances will change and you will not get it that easy. Absolutely. And see, and that was the other thing that happened when the market crashed the last time. People wasn't in position. Hardly nobody had good credit. And everybody who was winning was the ones who had the credit that had been in position a year or two prior before the market even crashed. So again, we got to start thinking long term. Because, the gentrification, this isn't something they just thought of yesterday. They've been putting these things in plan 30 years prior to us even thinking about this stuff. So why can't we have that forward thinking, put ourselves in position so when the market shifts, we can go out there and buy up everything. And that's really what it's all about being in position. All right. When you've bought a property that the owners thought was foreclosed, but the bank went out of business and released the lien, got the deed for $2,000. Hey, that sounds like a come up. All right, let me see. I've removed inquiries myself from Experian and TransUnion, but Equifax seems to be very difficult. Do you know why? By the way, I just got on board with We Management to finish the job for me. Well, one of the things I always learned is I don't need to ask a lot of questions when I know something works, but I can tell you we definitely are going to be able to get those inquiries off. Matter of fact, King Beyond, you go through our inquiry process about every 90 days. How has that part been beneficial for you because of the amount of capital that you're always constantly applying for?
Well, I'll say this. I went to another company because I wanted to do business with them as well. I liked them, and they told me I needed to wait for 8 months because I had just got, some funding and some different things. They said I needed to wait 8 months. I was like, Will didn't tell me that. Let me go over here. And I came to you, and it was 15 days. All the inquiries were off, and I went through another round of funding.
Just that simple. Just that simple. Somebody said money was very cheap. Money is cheap now, actually. Because all it takes is for you to have your credit in position. And then, but we can't complain if it takes 9 months. It shouldn't complain if it took you 24 months, because if you don't fix it, what's the alternative? And that's really what I tell people. Do we get ourselves bank compliant, then come to you? No, when you work with us, we give you the blueprint. We tell you how to be bank compliant. So we take out the guesswork for you. But then not only that, we're even going to do a credit analysis to make sure that your credit profile is compliant. That's going to meet the underwriting guidelines. See, a lot of these other funding companies, and King Beyond could probably attest to you and tell you this, most of them don't know credit. So yeah, you can have a 750, but if your profile not in place, guess what? They're throwing spaghetti against the wall, seeing what's going to stick. Would you agree with me, King?
Listen, somebody asked me last night something about credit, the process, and doing it on your own, and these different questions. I said, listen, me personally, I'm not trying to be an expert at credit repair. I said, my friend, I pointed at you, I said, my friend King right there, he an expert at that. I pay him for that. I don't need to think about that. This is what he do. He an expert. I'm an expert at finding great investments. That's what I specialize in.
Become an expert at hiring experts.
Yeah. It's like a football team. If you got a football team, you can't go to a championship if you're the quarterback, the wide receiver, the running back, the linebacker. You can't win a championship. You're going to fucking wander around all season. You're not even going to the playoffs. But if you play your position and you get other people that's great at their positions, right? And everybody buy into the vision, you're going to win a championship. It's the same way in business.
Hey, together we all win.
Period.
WYNN.
Period. It makes sense, right?
Right.
Makes sense.
Right.
SCENTS.
Right. All right. Credit is just a snapshot of where you are today. It's not the death sentence. Absolutely. And that's the thing I tell people, no matter where your credit is at, that doesn't mean that has to define what you're trying to do or where you're going. All credit can be rebuilt, restored, and repaired, but we got to be willing to invest the time to go and fix it. It may cost you a little bit of money to invest it, but I know people that invest in things all the time that bring zero return on investment. So it's just about, what's a necessity to you in life. If it cost me $5,000 to fix my credit over the course of everything that I had to invest in to fix it, but that $5,000 is going to put me in position to get $500,000, why wouldn't I do it? I know people that go to the casino and blow their money, trying to get returns like that.
People need to start asking themselves, what is this worth? Not how much it costs. What is it worth? If you paid $5,000 and you got a $10,000 credit line, it was worth it. And that's all you got was a $10,000 credit line. That's a 50% return on your money. Start doing the math, people.
Absolutely.
Period.
Absolutely. All right. Somebody asked, I paid the money, started the program, but I couldn't get a return call. Well, I will tell you that are you staying on top of your process? Because usually once you're in the program, we're going to make sure that we're following up with you. We do send out automated updates of your profile. And I can tell you a lot of people who reach out to us, they don't check their emails. We do our job. And then that's why we have people get credit monitoring. So you have to also take an onus in what you invested in. This isn't, a babysitting process. We are all aspiring entrepreneurs, so we have to be just as engaged in the process of what you are looking to get in return. So that's what I could say. All right, let me see what else we got. We got 12 more minutes, man. It seems like the time is going slow today, but that's a good thing because it gives us more time to rock out with y'all. Does a fairly new discharge Chapter 7 affect our business credit? Yes, it does. But you can dispute a bankruptcy. That's a thing a lot of people aren't aware of. You can dispute a bankruptcy. Someone asked again, what does bank compliant mean? These are guidelines and steps that your company need to have in place in order for a bank to want to do business with you. So I use this scenario. Some banks, if you don't have a fax number, they're going to deny your application. If you have a P.O. box, immediate denial, because that scares banks off because of the level of fraud that takes place in the world of funding and financing and different things like that. How much is it to invest? It depends on what you want to sign up for, family. Go to jmorrisonacademy.com and decide on what you want to do. FX Bowers dropped the link again. Depends what link you were talking about. But if it's the J. Morrison Academy page, go to jmorrisonacademy.com. All right, let me see what else. All right, so it looks like a lot of people are loving everything that you've been talking about, King. All right, see. Can you help people who may owe some business taxes to position? Yeah, we have a really dope business tax specialist. So, and again, this is why I tell people you want to have a tax specialist. So, we do have a tax specialist that we worked with. I tried to fix my credit through a company called Lexington Law Firm. They couldn't remove the inquiries or late payments, and they charged me monthly cancel because it wasn't benefiting me. Lexington Law doesn't dispute inquiries. They'll tell you they do, but they don't do that. That's not what their specialty is. So, and I can say that because I tried them out about 15 years ago. They ain't work. What's the best bank to open a business bank account with? It depends. Whichever one has the lowest fees. Every single bank is pretty much the same. You want to find a bank that works for you and have the lowest fees. Is the certification accredited? I'm not sure what certification Sandman 1600 you're talking about. Are repos removed completely? Yes. If it comes off your report, it's completely removed. Matter of fact, King Beyond, you knew someone who came to us and had a repo removed and a bankruptcy, correct?
Yes.
All right. What did it get removed?
Yes.
So that answers your question, Free Enterprise Jones. Now, I want to tell you guys one thing about auto loan repossessions. Most auto loan contracts are reported fraudulently. A lot of people don't know that. Most auto loan contracts that are delinquent are reported fraudulently, meaning, and I'll put y'all up on some game. This is one of the credit repair tip strategies that I'm about to give y'all. All right. So if the sticker price that's on the side of the vehicle, so you know how you go and purchase a vehicle and it has the sticker or the price on the windshield, if that price does not match the price on the contract, that is a fraudulent loan. Because a lot of times what the banks or what the finance companies at the dealership does, because they've tricked you into putting a down payment down, because when you have great credit, you don't have to put a down payment on a vehicle. Now, the sticker price on the windshield, and once they get your down payment, the amount they put on a contract are two different dollar amounts, because they have to finagle that price because the bank is only willing to finance the consumer because of their bad credit a certain amount, which is why you have to come up with 20% for the vehicle. Now, if you force the credit bureaus that, hey, they're fraudulently reporting because they said the car costs this, but on my contract it said this, they have to remove it off your credit report. So again, it's about knowing it's information. And this is one of the things that they don't tell you, which is why I would never recommend anybody buying a vehicle unless you extremely had to, without getting their credit in position, because it's no way in the world I'm going to put down 20% on a depreciating asset that's going to depreciate 20% as soon as you drive it off the lot. I'm putting $0 down and using the bank's money to finance that vehicle. And then my assets are going to pay the note every month. It's not even coming out of my pocket. My tenants are going to pay that car loan every single month. So thanks for bringing this forum to Facebook. Your book Credit is King on the Audible was excellent. Appreciate that. Thank you. How long after purchasing a primary home should I wait to start processing buying an investment? You could do it the same day. Matter of fact, you can purchase both on the same day. All right, let me see. What else we got? How long can I get a consult? I'm not sure what you tried to write. I'm not sure if you tried to put consolidation or consultation. All right, let me see. How many minutes we got? We got 7 minutes. 7 more minutes. All right, King. So we got about 7 minutes. Any last words you want to leave the people before we let them have their Friday back?
Step out on faith. Demonstrate your faith. You know, whatever that is inside of you that you continue to ignore. Nobody else may know, but when you look in the mirror, you know it's constantly on your mind. You go to sleep with it on your mind. You wake up with it on your mind. You have nothing to lose. Coach put you in the game because coach equipped you to win. Get out of your own way. Grow for it. Tomorrow not promised to you.
Absolutely.
Peace.
Absolutely, King. Someone asked, this is lit. I didn't know you can even dispute a bankruptcy. Absolutely. We dispute them all the time. I have a 726 FICO, 22.5 in business credit cards. What is the best strategy in regards to investing? Well, first of all, knowing what's your end goal in investing. Do you want to fix and flip? Do you want to buy and hold? Secondly, I would go after more capital. I would tell you 22,000 may not get you much. And so with a lot of our clients, especially our one-on-one coaching clients, we won't even let them pull the trigger on an investment deal until we have them a certain dollar amount of capital. Because let's say you find a property, you use the whole 22.5, now you're maxed out on your credit and you can't borrow no more money. Again, that's why the strategy of the sale, the strategy of the process, the strategy of the real estate transaction is more important than the money. The money will come. And that's one of the things I'm always telling people. We get somebody 20, 30, 40, 50,000, they in a hurry to spend it, but they don't even know how to evaluate a deal yet. Let's understand, yeah, that house isn't going anywhere. These houses aren't going anywhere. Trust me. But it's about being in position and making a smart buy as opposed to an impulse buy. And I see this happen because we have clients who weren't coachable, make impulse buys, and now they're stuck in a jam, and now they want us to be some miracle savior to get them out of their jam. No, first of all, you wasn't coachable. So that's part of the process. You definitely have to be coachable. All right. Is it a good idea to go on an investment with a family? Yes, if your family is coachable. Again, that's the operative terminology. And then also make sure you have a strong operating agreement in place. I'm in real estate investing. I'm about to get into partnership. My partner's credit is better. Would it make sense to improve on their scores to secure funding? Absolutely. Everybody on your team should have a strong credit profile, because then in that case, now everybody can go and get multiple companies, and now everybody win. Everybody can level up, and you can get all those companies' capital. If you never had purchased a home ever, should a investment property be your first investment? That's a personal decision. I would say definitely that, it depends on what your end goal is, but I definitely believe in home ownership, and that everybody should own some form of an asset. I have a company that was developed over a year ago. Though I still conduct business and just file my taxes, who can I contact to help me reinstate it? You need to contact the Secretary of State. You need to get them. And also, too, that's why it's good to have a registered agent. Your registered agent is going to make sure your company gets renewed every single year. All right. If I'm looking to get credit services, does it matter what company? J. Morrison or We Management? Nope. Absolutely. You can reach out to both, family. All right. Let me see. We got 3 minutes left. Do you have anything, videos or info, what we can do to have excellent credit? Darius Will, yes, go to my YouTube page, Mr. Will Roundtree on YouTube. It is actually the #1 video. When you type in credit on YouTube, right now, currently, it may still be there. I haven't checked it in a while. I have the #1 video in the world about how to get the perfect credit score. We got about over 500,000 views, and I want to say in less than 10 months. So definitely go on there. Make sure you show some love and share that video. All right, 2 more questions. Do I have to wait 2 years after my BK to purchase? It depends on the bank, but you still can dispute it. And depending on that bank or financial institution, if they pull a LexisNexis and see that you had filed bankruptcy, it still could impact you. So this is why you want to go and shop around. I tell people, just because one bank tell you no, why would you give up? At one point, one of my partners was trying to refinance his property. It took him, he called 15 banks before he found a bank that would refinance his property based on his terms. So we just have to start being persistent and stop taking a no so personal. I mean, when a bank or somebody tell me, no, they can't do that, I'm like, okay, well, if you won't, somebody else will. Because remember, the banks only make money when we use their money. So don't take it personal, especially when you know you have everything in place. It just doesn't meet their guidelines, and that's what I tell people. All right, last question. How much is usually secured during the first round? Every single person is different. I've had people only got $4,000 in credit their first round, but their credit profile wasn't strong enough. We tell them up front, hey, you may not get as much. You got 40 inquiries. Do you still want to go through? And they're so eager to go and get funding so they can post it online. They don't want to listen. So we've had people get 4,000. We had people get 110,000 on their first round. But this is a long-term game. I tell people, when you go through and get funding, this isn't just a one-time process. We've been working with King Beyond on now going on 3 years?
Yep, about 3 years.
Yeah, and he's gotten a substantial amount of capital. So
but outside of the capital, yes, I got a lot of capital, but what's more important than the capital that I've got is the knowledge and information that I got from you. And that's what I tell people. When people ask me about you and your costs, I tell them, like, it don't matter what it costs. The information and knowledge that I've gotten is priceless.
Absolutely.
Like, if I could open up a credit repair company, if that's what I wanted to do, based upon all the information and knowledge that you've shared through the process. So it wasn't just about getting me funded or fixing my credit. It was about schooling me.